everyone. How's everybody doing? Yeah? Who was here at 11 o'clock this morning? You guys rock. All right, I'm going to ask you guys to come forward if you don't mind, so we could be closer, more engaging, conversational. I'm a millennial, but I'm not a scary millennial, so come on. So if you guys were in the 11 o'clock presentation, I so appreciate you coming back. It means the world to me. I actually had a really scary experience on Tuesday. I flew here yesterday. I got into a pretty nasty car accident. And I'm not kidding you, the first thing that went through my mind was, I better be able to get to Las Vegas. And then I realized, and I was like, okay, I'm fine, I'm a little stiff, but you guys really powered me to get through the week and get through that accident. So we don't know each other that well, but thank you, because you guys really helped me this week. So if you were here for my 11 o'clock, maybe I repeat a few things, bear with me, but as some people I know were trickling in as the presentation went, which was very exciting to see. I feel like as a 23-year-old young female in this industry, it's really important for me to kind of share with you my experience of how I got here. You know, why is this 23-year-old chick talking to me at Sage Summit? Well, back in the day, about 8 years ago, I was 16 years old in high school. I was at a local public school that happened to have a television production studio. And I loved every facet of communications. I loved working behind the camera, in front of the camera, producing, directing, writing, staging, everything I thought was so incredible, because the overall message, or the overall goal, was communicating a message through film. And I was just talking with my new friends, my fellow millennials over here, and they said, you know what, Chelsea, we keep hearing that all these people speaking on behalf of the generation, it's so negative. And thank you guys for saying that, because as my fellow peers, I agree. I feel that this generation has so many negative stereotypes, you know, and it's unfortunate, because I feel like this generation is incredibly different, incredibly influential, and has such a power to be such a force in this world and make major change for the future. So at 16 years old, it was the time where Nicole Richie, Paris Hilton, and Lindsay Lohan were the Kardashian sisters. And they were on every single magazine cover, and they were all over the television, and they were the representation of today's generation, which was girls who were 90 pounds with white substances on their dresses and partying until 5 o'clock in the morning. And they were the future. They were the representation of this generation. And I said, I don't agree with that. I don't think so. And what am I going to do to defeat that stereotype? So at 16, there was no word millennial. It was the teenagers. The teenagers were narcissistic. We were entitled. We were pessimistic. We were very promiscuous. We were the demise of the future. So that then gave me the idea to create a platform, create something that was going to empower this generation, provide really important information, tools, tips, knowledge, talk about all the social issues pertaining to the teenage generation, to make it that much easier to be a 16-year-old teenager in today's world, because it's a bit challenging. And that was the start of Teen Talk Live, my first radio talk show, local AM affiliate. Ken Harris, the president, it was in South Florida. He was crazy enough to give me the opportunity. And 3 months later, we had our first live show. That then led me to working for local CBS and Fox News, then to national syndicated shows like Today's Show, CNN, HLN, Good Morning America, Anderson Cooper, Tyra, Katie. And they were all, it was so interesting being this young person speaking to people who I so respected and I idolized. And you would think that they were communications majors, they were in tune to what was happening within today's generation. But there was such a generation bridge. You know, Chelsea, what is a millennial? What do you guys want? What do you guys feel? How do we attract you? What marketing tactics influence this generation? There is a disconnect. And it makes sense that there's a disconnect, being that this generation is unlike any generation in history. I mean, we grew up with technology. We grew up with Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest and the internet. We don't remember life really without it. So that's of course going to shape us and mold us and influence us in ways that generations didn't have that opportunity back in the day. So it's about being open-minded to what it is that makes millennials tick, because millennials are completely collaborative. We love to engage, we love to get involved, we love to share our opinions, we love having our voices heard. And if brands and organizations and corporations could tap into what the millennial market, their target demographic, wants, they could be such a success, because millennials will tell you. So I love that we're talking about marketing that attracts the millennial generation. I think it's a huge topic. I think it's a topic that if we could get in tune to it now, whether we're a startup or an already existing corporation, it's creating a window into the success of your business for the future, because millennials are the future. You know, we are 80 million strong in America. We are 80 million strong in America alone. So there are a lot more of us, but in America alone, we're 80 million. We are almost 50% of the workplace by 2020, and we're really shifting the corporate environment. We're really influencing the way that traditional advertising and marketing worked in the past, but it's not working now. So traditional marketing, product, price, placement, promotional strategy. That's what everybody learns in their textbook in college. I still learned it when I was in school. But do they talk about social interaction, participation, CSR, corporate social responsibility? There's so much more to marketing today, because there's so many more resources at our fingertips to influence and also engage in this generation. So I want to empower everyone to say, okay, marketing and advertising has obviously been very important to empower and extend the footprint of brands forever. But now there are other ways to do it. And those other ways are social, are digital, are mobile. And that's where the millennials are. Every brand, every consumer wants to have this bridge connected. Millennials do want to be a part of the marketing that influences this generation. And that's what's so exciting, because it's not like a lost cause. I think a lot of us think it's a lost cause. Oh, we don't get the millennial. How do we speak to them? What do they want? Millennials will tell you. If you give them a chance, if you give them an opportunity, if you create a community, which is essential to extend your brand awareness. And we're going to talk more about that. So today's marketing: affordability, brand value, participation, and functionality. Affordability. Millennials are struggling to pinch some pennies together. Millennials are graduating college today with an average of $30,000 worth of student loans. We are the most overeducated generation and jobless generation at the same time. We are the most educated generation in the history of all generations thus far. However, there's a 16% unemployment rate, and millennials are struggling to find jobs. So, when becoming loyal to certain brands, so when marketing your brand to a millennial, because of course you want your products to get sold, affordability does have to play an integral role. Now, of course, pertaining to technology, or whether it's a lipstick, that's going to be a little bit different. But thinking about affordability, especially pertaining to millennials, is really essential, because millennials are so savvy and we have so many resources at our fingertips that if something's $300 in the store, most likely a millennial can find it at a discounted price online. And they will, because we can find it, and we're savvy enough to know all the outlets and the resources to find us that discounted item. So affordability is pretty major. Brand value. We talked a lot about branding in the 11 o'clock presentation. Value is so important to millennials. You know, we have this very entitled, egotistical stereotype regarding this generation. However, I want to wipe that from all of your brains, because millennials are incredibly philanthropic. We are really open-minded. We are extremely liberal. We love change, and we love to feel that what we purchase is also creating value not only to ourselves, but possibly to a greater good. And we'll get more into that a few slides down the road. Participation. Hands down, marketing tactics to be building that community, engaging in your consumers, engaging in that target demographic. Because the purchasing decision is so different than what it used to be. You know, my grandmother and my mom always used to say, if my mom bought Revlon perfume, I wore Revlon perfume. That's not the case today. My grandma now asks me what I buy. Participation is so influential because if your brand is participating in this generation, creating a community within social media, that engagement, that community can influence the purchaser's decision, the consumer's decision. And functionality. This is also major within marketing. I feel like having your social outlets, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, that's all marketing. You are marketing your brand. You are marketing your products. You are marketing your message, especially your website, and especially if you do have an app, and if you have a mobile-friendly website, which I encourage every brand, organization, product, startup to have, the functionality has to be spot on. Unfortunately, you don't have a lot of time to influence the millennial generation. I call us like the ADD generation. We're all like all over the place. So if your mobile-friendly site doesn't load in 3 seconds, if your app doesn't load in 3 seconds, if your Twitter handle is like, funky for 3 seconds, that's gonna influence the millennials' decision on your brand, on your product. So functionality, major. We're gonna tap into more of these as we continue. Oh, and also, being that I'm a millennial, I love conversation, I love collaboration, I love engagement. If anyone has a question at any time, raise your hand. Don't feel like you're interrupting me. I encourage questions, and we have a mic runners. They'll come to you with a microphone. Sound cool? Okay, first and foremost, there are so many stereotypes regarding this generation, and in order to market to this generation effectively, I feel like we have to debunk some stereotypes. Lazy, entitled, inattentive. Everybody remember this Time magazine cover? Has anyone not seen this Time magazine cover? You didn't see it? You're Canadian. Okay, so Time magazine, about a year ago, ran this cover, the Me, Me, Me generation. Now, in reality, print, as much as I love print, I work on behalf of Cosmopolitan magazine. As much as I love print, it is more on the side of a dying medium, because it's not mobile, it's not internet, it's not an app. Those are the waves of the future. Cosmopolitan.com's mobile-friendly site and their app, that's what they're pushing. So, for a slightly dying medium, to put on their cover the Me, Me, Me generation and totally shoot the millennials down, is that really gonna influence the millennial to pick it up, buy it, and read it? It was such a mistake on their part, and it made me very angry, if you can't tell. Because I totally respect Time magazine, I still read Time magazine, but this marketing tactic right here, I don't even know what they were trying to do. They fed into this stereotype instead of empowering this generation to actually, instead of pull up timemagazine.com, go and buy their magazine. So I'm sure whoever created that might not be working at Time anymore. So I said it, we are in fact liberal, open-minded, engaged, collaborative. We have to debunk these stereotypes as marketers, as advertisers, because if we don't understand the true biology of a millennial, if we don't understand the millennial lingo, if we don't really pay attention to what exactly millennials are thinking, saying, wanting, instead of feeding into the stereotypes, how could you market to them effectively? And that's why I wanted to take the time to debunk some of these stereotypes so that we can market to the millennials effectively and together, because it's all about creating that community. Another big stereotype is that millennials don't spend money. I just was saying that millennials are pinching pennies together. We are. We're in a lot of debt. I mean, the average student graduating college is $30,000 worth of student loans, and we have a 16% unemployment rate, so it's hard to then find a job. Crazy thing is that we are 80 million people in America alone, and our combined spending power annually is $200 billion. And by 2017, it'll be $10 trillion in their lifetime. And it's expected to grow. So it's such an oxymoron, it's such a contradiction, because millennials are really savvy in saving, and we are all on a budget, and we are all strapped for cash. However, there's a lot of money out there. So if your brand can market effectively to the millennial, if your brand can effectively target the emotional and the practical need of what that millennial may need at that time, then they're going to spend their money with you. How to cut through the clutter. I mean, who goes on their internet browser or check, the web at least 3 times a day? At least 5 times a day. At least 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, woo, 10 times. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of content out there. How do you cut through it? We've gone from being exposed to about 500 ads in the 1970s to about 5,000 a day. Millennials are so desensitized to things that there could be a beautiful naked woman on the billboard and a guy might walk by it because he's busy texting. We are so desensitized to some marketing, so how do you cut through the clutter? Consider who your target audience are and target them in a refined way. This is how you cut through the clutter. Whether you're a brand that's selling a product, whether you're a feminine hygiene care product, whether you're Intel, Microsoft, a technology software company, you have to understand who your target demographic is. Working as a brand consultant, I've worked with Microsoft, MasterCard, Intel, the Rotary, TurboTax, Kyocera, BCBG, and the list goes on. And it's so interesting when I hear brands saying, oh, well, we want to appeal to everyone. You can't appeal to everyone. You really can't appeal to everyone. Why? Because there are so many different, well, first of all, there are 3 predominant generations today, Gen X, Baby Boomer, and Millennial, and we all beat to a different drum. We all seek different value in certain products. Refining and targeting your demographic is going to allow you to understand what it is that that demographic wants, what it is that they want from your marketing, what influences them in marketing, and giving it to them. You're going to see such an increase in your ROI if you actually refine your target demographic and give that demographic exactly what they're asking for. And that's how you cut through the clutter efficiently and effectively. I said when I started my radio show, Teen Talk Live, it's for teenagers, completely for teenagers. I didn't even actually think about Gen Xers and Baby Boomers because I was so excited to empower the teenagers, the millennials, with a platform to call their own. What I didn't know is that Baby Boomers and Gen Xers also wanted to understand the millennial mindset and were calling in and messaging in and tweeting in just as much as the millennials. And I was really surprised because I had a target and refined audience. However, that audience, the millennials, were so dictating a lot of what the future entails that other generations are going to start to listen and participate. So, whether your target demographic is Baby Boomer, Gen Xer, I mean, we're all here listening to a millennial right now, so I think we all have millennials on our mind. Targeting the millennial is going to have a huge effect on the longevity of your brand because we really are the way of the future. We are the ones that's going to be along the most for right now. I mean, we have Gen Z coming up right now, but millennials are 80 million in America alone. If you could find a way to create a target demographic and influence them, that's how you create brand loyalty, and they will stay with you. Think of your consumer like a partner, not a target audience. This is so essential. This is not only how you cut through the clutter and build the loyalty amongst that target demographic, but this is how you crowdsource information to make your marketing that much more influential and effective to your product, brand, organization. Millennials are incredibly engaged in each other all throughout the day. We influence each other all the time. We're going to get into user-generated content and word of mouth. But if you could reshift your focus and saying, okay, this isn't a consumer, this is a partner, because the fact that we have social media at our fingertips, millennials can become your best publicist or your worst enemy. So make them your brand ambassadors. Make them want to speak on behalf of your company. Make them excited to share what you have going on within your company that's going to empower their life and their friends and family. And if we can reshift that thought a little bit, that makes marketing so much more effective in itself. Crowdsourcing. We mentioned crowdsourcing. I would love to tell you guys a little story. So, I work in communications, media, television, radio, marketing. Has anyone been to NATPE, N-A-T-P-E? NATPE? So NATPE is like the mecca of television, syndicators, networks, writers, producers, casting. And it happened this year in Miami. And at the Fountain Blue, I don't know if any of you have been there, but the Fountain Blue is this beautiful pool, and it was white tent after white tent after white tent, Lionsgate, Denmar, CNN, HLN, give me another one, Time Warner Cable, and I was just like drooling, because this was my heaven. I couldn't believe it. And people were bouncing in between each tent, selling shows, pitching shows, giving scripts. And guess what the key word was? The token word of all of the NATPE convention was millennial. Millennial, 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 millennial. I was just like, who knew I was coming? The crazy thing was, I was the youngest person there. I was 22. So I'm at this NATPE convention. Every single network, every single syndicator, every single show is trying to reach the millennial generation. Why? Because millennials aren't watching TV. We're watching on our phone, we're watching on our tablet, we're watching online. So ratings have really gone down. So this overall theme for NATPE was how to get millennials to watch television. And I looked around, and there were no millennials present. So you have all these Gen Xers and baby boomers talking amongst themselves, trying to figure out what millennials want. But where were the millennials to share what it is that they wanted from television? So I started tweeting at NATPE and Instagramming at NATPE and taking pictures at NATPE. And I got immediate feedback from NATPE Live. They said, Chelsea, wherever you are, stay there, we're coming to you. And I was like, uh-oh, did I do something wrong? Literally, I got scared. I was like, principal's office? Stayed there, NATPE Live came, and they said, thank God a millennial's here. I said, I'm so happy to be here, but where are all the other millennials, especially because you're trying to attract us? And they said, we don't know. We don't know. There were no panels. There were no open forums. There were no Twitter chats. There was no way to engage in the millennials. How can you find out, how could you decide what someone wants unless you ask them? I said, how about this? Every Tuesday night, I host a Twitter chat, #MillennialTalk. 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. How about Chelsea Krost and at NATPE do a Twitter party together, and the topic is, what do millennials want from television? Oh my God, Chelsea, brilliant idea. And I was like, yes, yes, it worked, because do you know how many times that I've been shot down? Do you know how hard it was? My mom's here, she's living proof. It took me at least 6 years, I've been doing this 8 years, at least 6 years for people to actually give me the opportunity to speak on behalf of this generation. So the fact that they were giving me the opportunity to collaborate with them on social media to allow the millennials to share what it is they wanted from television, that was such a breakthrough for me. That Twitter party generated over 23 million impressions. And from that Twitter party, we had over 300 contributors. From that Twitter party, NATPE and all the syndicators, networks, producers, writers present, they got exactly concrete X, Y, and Z from what millennials actually wanted from television. Pertaining to the talk shows, because especially the daytime talk shows, it's very hard to get millennials to watch. Millennials want 30-minute shows at 11 o'clock at night. They don't want a celebrity host. They want heavy social engagement, and they want this topic, and this topic. It was literally like I paid people to tweet the things that I wanted to hear. I mean, it was amazing. It was exactly what millennials wanted from television being said on this stream through the Twitter chat. And that's the power of crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing your target demographic. Understanding your target demographic, understanding where they are, and letting them tell you what it is that they want from you. That is such an effective way of marketing. Here are some of the tweets from our Twitter party. Marketing is a brand social team on standby. Okay, so we're talking about real-time marketing. Real-time marketing is very essential. Live tweeting from certain events, which Sage Summit is doing awesome today. Marketing to millennials, write content, create workshops, give a talk, but most importantly, make them believe that they matter. Ask them questions. Ask what it is that they want. That's what NatP wasn't doing. Marketers have to stop talking at millennials and start having conversations with them. Millennials are so ready to tell you what it is that they like and what they don't like. It could be a little scary, because if you put a lot of money into making the color red and millennials tell you the color blue, then that stinks. But they will tell you. So ask them prior to actually doing something. Marketing tactics that work in and that are out. In. Let's do out first. Social silence, no mobile website, long-form content, inauthentic, pop-up ads, and notifications. Things that are in: social strategy, mobile strategy, micro content, transparency, pop-up shops, and gamification. Social strategy. I know that I have rammed social so much today into everyone's brain, but social is so effective in all marketing strategies. Every brand, organization, startup should have someone who's in charge of social. I've met a few social media managers today, and they are so influential because they're the ones talking to the target demographic. They're the ones engaging in their consumer. They're the ones engaging in the people that make their brand work or fail. Mobile strategy. Most likely, a millennial is going to have the first impression of your brand via mobile. We spend about 17 hours on our mobile devices a day. That's a lot of time. So make sure that your mobile optimized website is running effectively and efficiently and that it exists. I can't tell you how many brands or products or websites that I still pull up on my phone that don't have a mobile optimized website. And I immediately click out, and so will the millennials. Something very doable that should be done. Micro content. Micro content is super fun, and guess what? It's less work. It's less work because you don't have to produce 5-minute videos, 10-minute videos. You don't have to produce 3-page articles or 100-word surveys. Micro content is short, effective, to the point, and leaves a person drooling, wanting more. That's why Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram are working. That's why the millennials are there. Twitter has been coined the micro-blogging king. Because think about it. Blogging, it could be a paragraph, it could be a page, it could be up to 3 pages. A tweet is 140 characters. Someone's either going to be so interested to learn more from that 140 characters, or they're just going to keep scrolling. So instead of you taking the time to produce this 3-page article that took maybe a week of your time, crowdsource it. Put a little snippet or a few snippets out there on Twitter and see how many favorites, tweets, shares, responses it gets. Maybe you could actually crowdsource for that article and include people within that article that makes them that much more likely to read it and then share it within their network. That's the power of micro content. Use Instagram and Vine to your best advantage because you could do 15-second videos, very raw, very real, that leave people hopefully wanting more. Transparency. Millennials live by the motto, authentic, organic, transparent. The fact that we are bombarded with so much advertising on a daily basis, the fact that there is so much clutter out there and bad content, there is so much bad content out there. We just want transparent, authentic, organic content, and we will read through the BS. We will. And the BS it's so bad. Just no BS. Authentic, transparent, make it very relatable, very honest, and that will attract brand loyalty. And that marketing will resonate so much more with that millennial. Pop-up shops. For those of you who have products, before you go to market and opening up a storefront, a pop-up shop is a great crowdsourcing resource. It's a limited time store that's up in a particular market, whether it's New York, LA, wherever you may be, I would do it in a populated city that people could walk by and stop in. And you could have your best products there. You don't have to get 30,000, you could get 300. Allow the person to play with it and ask them to tweet about it. Marc Jacobs did an amazing pop-up shop where they used social currency. Social currency meaning that there was no money involved when there was products. So people left with lipstick and perfume and really cool, great little trinkets from Marc Jacobs. And they had to tweet and post and hashtag all of the items in order to actually leave with the items. This generated millions and millions and millions of impressions. They were written up in all of the hot places like Huffington Post, Mashable, and TechCrunch. And it just extended their footprint and made millennials say, oh my God, the next time Marc Jacobs has a pop-up shop, I am there. Gamification, that's your classic loyalty reward system. Make that very doable. Don't make it complicated. Be very transparent with what the millennial has to do in order to participate in that gamification. And it feeds into the competitiveness in everyone. You know, we all have that like inner competition going on. Gamification taps into the fun of competition. And also you get rewards. Ironically, I found this very interesting. Of the top gamification brands out there, Dunkin' Donuts just won. I would have definitely thought that Starbucks would have won, but Dunkin' Donuts won. Their Double D Perks program. Reason why it works so effectively is because they have an app, they have a mobile-friendly site, they have storefronts, their prices are very affordable. When you sign up for the Double D Perks program, you initially get 200 points. Every time you purchase an item, you get 5 more points. On your birthdays, you get free items, free items, free items, and you can rack up free items very easily, and you can keep track of how many points you have on your mobile device in the app. Simple, effective, efficient, to the point. That's what makes gamification work. Question over here?
Would that be an effective strategy for getting them to try new products? And if you're launching a new product in your store,
an effective strategy to trying a new product.
Try it, yeah.
Within a storefront?
Yes.
Within a storefront. So you already have a store.
Yes.
I would create a pop-up shop within your store. So when you walk into the storefront, usually someone's familiar with your store, hopefully, or maybe it's someone completely new. But I would set up an experience within that storefront that you want to create that consumer with that new product. Create an experience. Don't just say, oh, we have a new product. Do you want to come see it? Create a corner little pop-up shop in there where you have some sort of experience pertaining to the product at hand. Is it a cosmetic? Is it makeup? Is it shoes? Is it clothes? Is it technology? What could you do pertaining to your brand, pertaining to your product, that you could then create an experience to make that person feel like they walked out with a product, but also a cool memory. That not only do they walk out with a product to hopefully share with their friends, but they also say, hey, and I also got to do this while in the store. That's why now when you guys walk into like department stores, whether it's Bloomingdale's, Macy's, Saks, Nordstrom's, Bergdorf's, you're going to start to notice pop-up shops within the stores. And it's an effective customer experience designed to bring your eye there, your body there, so you pay attention to the new product, but you leave with an experience. Create an experience within marketing, because that's what starts to get shared between friends. Engage with your customers' emotional and practical needs. User-generated content will do this so well. User-generated content. Does everyone understand what user-generated content is? User-generated content is created by everyone. It's created by us. It's not created by Microsoft for Microsoft. It's created by Chelsea Krost for Microsoft. It's created by Cindy Cross for Microsoft. User-generated content is 50% more influential amongst millennials. Why? Because it's transparent. It's authentic. It's organic. It's me taking the time out of my day to write on behalf of Microsoft. Of course Microsoft's going to write a good thing about Microsoft. That's why user-generated content is king. We've all heard the term content is king. User-generated content is king. And there's a way to effectively tap into user-generated content to work further on your behalf. There are so many influencers out there. You know, it's interesting. I was having a conversation at ABC last week in New York, and Meredith Vieira is launching a new talk show, Go Meredith. I love her. I love her. I love her. I said, and they called me in because they wanted to see how Meredith could relate to this generation. And I said, well, are you having millennial influencers on the show to talk about certain topics? Oh, well, we didn't think about that because Meredith is the host. Meredith is a celebrity. Katie Couric is a celebrity. Anderson Cooper is a celebrity. People relate to other people more than they relate to a celebrity. You could look up to a celebrity, you could idolize a celebrity, but people on a day-to-day basis, whether it's lipstick, a car, they will go to user-generated content. Even user-generated content means the reviews on Yelp, the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. That's all user-generated content. I mean, before you pick a hotel, don't you look at the reviews? If they have bad review, bad review, bad review, but Anderson Cooper's like, Marriott's my favorite hotel, you're probably not going to go to Marriott because the user-generated content really influences a lot of what the millennials think, I'm going to put my money there or I'm going to move on to the next thing. Tap into the influencers to help create the user-generated content on your behalf. If you're a fashion brand, there are so many amazing fashion bloggers with hundreds of thousands of followers. And if they believe in your brand, they will collaborate with you. Tap into the influencers out there that pertain to your niche, pertain to your brand, and ask them to create content on your behalf. Content collaboration. So influential. They're going to share the content, you're going to share the content, and then the influencer's loyal fans and following, they're going to retweet that content. Now you've just reached thousands more people than you ever would have done if you, the brand yourself, posted a blog on your branded website. Does that make sense? I know it's a lot of words. So that's the influence of user-generated content. And here's some of the tweets pertaining to user-generated content and how influential it is. Word of mouth. I mean, word of mouth is everything. You know, if your friend is like, you got to go to this place, you got to go to Thailand, I swam with the elephants, I mean, you're going to really trust your friend. User-generated content is like the digital version of word of mouth. So if you could think about it that way and how influential your friends, family, confidants, opinion of something is to you, that's how you should think of user-generated content. I mean, these are from our Twitter chat about what marketing influences this generation. We did a whole Twitter chat, aside from my NatP one, pertaining to Sage Summit for this topic. We had over 20 million impressions, and I can't even tell you how many tweets I had to go through because there were so many on behalf of user-generated content and word of mouth, and that is the most effective method of marketing. So if you could create that awesome experience that they leave the store and they text their friend, I just had this amazing lipstick try-on at blah blah store, that's going to be the most effective way of getting the word out for that new product. Cause marketing. We don't have that much time. Cause marketing is so influential. 60% of people said that buying from socially responsible companies is so important to them. Everybody heard of Tom's? Warby Parker? Warby Parker is a glasses brand. When you buy a pair, so Warby Parker does two things. They create an amazing experience for their consumer. When you are think about how many glasses you try on in the store. Like 20, 10, 5. Warby Parker allows you to go on their website, pick 5 different lenses, and they mail you the lenses. No need to get into your car and go to a storefront. They come to you. You get to try on those 5 different lenses. This is an experience. 5 different lenses. Maybe tweet to your followers, your friends, send it to your boyfriend, which ones do you like better? Then you pick the lenses, you send it back to him, I want my prescription in this pair. And then when you buy a pair of glasses, a free eye exam goes to a child in need in a third world country. Socially responsible brand that also creates an experience, amazing. So effective, so incredible, so brilliant, and such a great way to give back. Now, This doesn't mean, if you're a brand, organization, company, to just slap a social issue onto your brand and call it a day. Make sure that it aligns to your message. Make sure that you're very authentic in the way that you resonate this message or translate this issue amongst your following. And if it's authentic, if it's organic, if it really resonates with that message, it will work. And 60% of people said that buying from a socially responsible company is very important to them. I know that when I was walking down the store and it was after the oil spill, and think about how much soap, so many soap options. There was a soap with a penguin on it, and it was Dawn, and, and all of the proceeds for the soap were going back to the animals that were affected in the oil spill. Done. Picked up that soap. Maybe I picked up 2 of them, and I checked out. It really has such an influence, but make sure it aligns with your brand and it's authentic. And the way that in which you express the social issue is very transparent and authentic. And here's the importance from some of our Twitter chat members about CSR, corporate social responsibility. Brand experience is everything. We talked a little bit about it already, but everything from purchasing the item, finding the item, and something that we don't always think about, your employer's experience. How happy are your employers in the workplace? Have you ever walked into a store where the employee was really not happy, really cranky? That was not a good experience for you. Are you really going to want to go back there? It's such a chain effect, making your employees happy in the workplace. They're happy to be there, so they're happy to help you. It's all about creating that experience for that millennial, that person. When they purchase your product, buy that product, research your product, that makes them actually want to go back the second time. Or tell their friends, family, following, this product is great, this product is worthy. Or hopefully they write a review on your behalf. And that just bumps up your user-generated content. Spotify does this amazingly. They have customization, recommendations curated from your interests, accessibility, instant gratification. These are some brands that I think are marketing to millennials very effectively. And some of these reasons are why. Millennials love customization. That's why millennials are obsessed with Chipotle. Not only is Chipotle corporate socially responsible because all their food is sustainable, and they make sure all their food is local, and they purchase from the local farmers, but you get to Chipotle and you get to say, I want chicken, beef, or pork, I want guacamole, sour cream, or cheese, I want the fattening version or the low-fat version. Customization, the experience, where the food comes from, where the product comes from, that really matters to us. Virgin America, another amazing brand. I mean, has anyone flown on Virgin America yet? I mean, when you walk onto that plane, you feel like you're in a groovy environment. It's dark with the purple lighting. You could send a cute boy or cute girl a drink on their little chat thing. They have great music, the multimedia player. It's what kind of experience are you creating? That's a marketing tactic. That's going to hopefully create people to tweet about it, take a picture about it, share it with their friends, and make it all come back to you. The brand wins in the end. And they have a great rewards program, Virgin. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that I had answered some of your questions. Please bombard me as much as you want with more questions. Experience, authenticity, social, let's make it happen. Marketing. Thank you, guys.